This is homework set 3, arithmetic with real numbers, addition, subtraction. And we're just going to continue on here with questions 13 through 16. Question 13 says that we should write the numerical expression that is equivalent to this phrase right here. All right, so we're not really adding or operating on anything or solving anything. We're just going to write the expression that translates this. So what do we have? The sum. So I'm thinking addition of these two numbers. I'm going to add these two numbers, and then I'm going to increase it by 6. So that means I'm going to add 6 to it. So how about if we write negative 3 plus, now I'm going to write it like this, negative 4. I'm going to add those two numbers, and then I'm going to increase that by 6. And I'm going to write it like this, negative 3, I'm not going to write it like this, plus negative 4, all right? This is just awkward here. So let's not do that. Let's enclose that negative 4 in parentheses. So that is, I think, what we are looking for. Now, just let me check. Does it say we're supposed to simplify it? Recall that the word sum indicates addition. Write the numerical expression that is equivalent to this phrase. Nope, we're not supposed to do anything more, but we could. We don't have to, but what do you get here? Let's just see. Negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7, and then negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. So I'm thinking this thing here would be a negative 1. Number 14, we're asked to perform this subtraction. Now, this is subtraction, so I have negative 3, and then I'm going to subtract 19. Now, that's going to be negative 22, and let's see how we're going to get this. So it's going to be negative 22. If you know how to do it, great. Otherwise, here's how I'm going to get that negative 22. Subtraction is addition of the opposite. So I'll write that down. A lot of words here. Let's make sense out of it. Subtraction is addition of the opposite. So I see a subtraction right here. That's a negative 3, and then subtract 19. So subtraction is addition, so I'm going to write it now. So subtraction of negative 3 is addition. Change subtraction to addition of the opposite. Now, what is the opposite of 19? That's a subtract 19. The opposite of 19 is negative 19. So what we've done is we've indicated that subtraction is addition of the opposite. Now look what we've got. I'm adding two numbers with the same sign. So just add their absolute values. So you get 3 plus 19 is 22. Now use the common sign. So when you subtract, you change it to addition of the opposite. And then when you add, you just add the absolute values, 3 and 19, and then use the common sign. The common sign here is negative, so that's where I get the negative 22. Question 15 is pretty much like 14. We're going to make a subtraction now, but I've got two negative numbers here. So what I've got is a subtraction, and I know that, right down here, subtraction is addition of the opposite. So when you see a subtraction, by definition, you change it to addition. So negative 14 plus. So I'm changing that to an addition of the opposite. Now, the number that we're subtracting is negative 15. The opposite of negative 15 is positive 15. Now what I've got is an addition of two numbers with opposite signs. If they have opposite signs, I just make a subtraction. Seems like we're going in a circle, but I subtract larger absolute value minus smaller absolute value. So I'm going to get 15 minus 14, which is a 1. Then I use the sign of the larger absolute value. Now, 15, the absolute value of 15 is larger than the absolute value of that 14, negative 14, which is 14. So 15, and that sign there is positive. So 15 minus 14 is going to be positive 1. All right, so we're saying now that negative 14, if you subtract negative 15, you get a difference of 1. in number 16, it looks like we've got a couple of subtractions going on here. I've got negative 11 minus 8, and then from that result, we'll subtract 14. So let's do this. We're going to get subtraction now is addition of the opposite, right? That's subtraction right down here. Here's what subtraction is. Subtraction is addition of the opposite. So what you do is you change subtraction signs to addition signs, and then the number following it, you change it to the opposite of that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write negative 11. Now, change this subtraction. Change that subtraction to an addition. Plus, now, make two changes. Here's the number that's being subtracted, 8. Change it to its opposite. The opposite of 8 is negative 8. I'll put it in parentheses. Now, same thing over here. I got a subtraction. Change it to addition of the opposite. Now, the number being subtracted is 14. The opposite of 14 is negative 14. I'll put that in parentheses. Now, two at a time. I've just got two additions here, right? I've got addition and an addition. These are not that's not a subtraction now. That's just negative 8, negative 14, and negative 11. So, left to right, two at a time. Let's take care of these two right here. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm adding two numbers with the same sign. So just add add the absolute values, 11 and 8, 19, and then use the common sign, which is that negative. So this is negative 19, and then I still have to add that negative 14. But now again, I'm adding two numbers with the same sign, right? Both of them are negative. So add the absolute values. Absolute value of negative 19 is 19. Absolute value of negative 14 is 14. So 19 and 14 is 33. And then use the common sign. Both of them are negative, so I'll use a negative. And that finishes off our set 3, questions 13, 14, 15, and 16.